drizzle. That's what we're looking at on the very top tank here at Citi Field tonight. We're ready for baseball. Lugo ready to work, and his first offering to Brett Gardner tonight is in for a strike. Top for New York. 2 of those 3 did not start in yesterday's win for New York, but both Brett Gardner and Greg Bird appeared as plenty of tonight.
He's doubled his usage on it this season. Big conversation he had with Callaway coming in. Use your best pitch, and that's the curveball for Seth Lugo.
Missed up and away with 96. Yeah, he's also got the velocity in the repertoire as well.
2 in the past. Once he went to the bullpen, he started letting it eat a little more. Now jumped his velocity 3 to 4 miles an hour.
Missed at 97.
Seam and 4-seam fastball that he'll split up about 50%. The curveball we mentioned, the slider. It's also got a changeup he'll throw occasionally.
2 balls and 2 strikes to start the ballgame for Brett Gardner, who slashes it into the opposite field. Laying out is Nimmo to make a fine catch. If there's a guy to get excited about for the Mets this year, Alex, we just saw him in left field.
That you get afterwards.
1 gone for Giancarlo Stanton. And Lugo delivers a 95-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees to get in front. Stanton's starting to come around. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 10, as the average up to 248 at the start of play tonight. 15 home runs, 34 driven in. Nothing wrong with the home run total. The Yankees would like to see more in terms of the RBI productivity for a guy with his power.
Perfectly to left field. You're thinking double, you're thinking base hit, and you're making a left turn back to the dugout. Boy, is that a deflating way to start the game.
Right on good, as we mentioned. Last 13 appearances, only 1 of those a start, of 1.07 ERA. And he strikes out Stanton. Let's talk a little bit about the Yankees, who have a full head of steam at the start of this one. Winners in 9 of their last 10. Jess mentioned they lead the American League in slugging in their last 3 games. I mean, everything is clicking on all cylinders for this team right now, certainly on the offensive side of the scorecard. Here's Greg Bird now. Bird, as we mentioned, used as a pinch hitter yesterday. And he falls behind 0-2. Fella Aaron Judge was getting his 2nd day off this week tonight.
Matt, you talk about how good this offense has been, and you think about it, Greg Bird and Gary Sanchez right now, the 3-4 hitters in this lineup, both hitting under 200. So scary to think when these bats get going.
And there's a base hit for Greg Bird.
Off-speed pitch.
Weather. Get after it. Here's Gary Sanchez now with a man aboard and 2 gone. Sanchez just 2 for 25 as the Yankees wrap up what amounted to find his or her hero not in the lineup tonight. Talk about deflating, Alex. I don't care if Brett Gardner got robbed on a great play and left.
Heartbreaking.
Of course, they have the judges' chambers across town at Yankee Stadium. That was built during his rookie year. On the ground to third. Frazier the short way. And it's a scoreless first for Seth Lugo. Underway, the Mets, Cabrera, Frazier, and Nimmo against Luis Severino on the mound for the Yankees. A winner his last time out in Game 1 of the doubleheader at Detroit on Monday. He has been fantastic this year. Corey Kluber was a winner earlier today, beating the Tigers. A win for Luis Severino would match Kluber for a share of the American League lead and get him to double digits on a far better. He has an opportunity to notch that victory here tonight. On the corner to put Cabrera behind 1 and 2.
Well, Severino, we spoke about it earlier. I mean, he is the full package in a deep arsenal with a fastball, great changeup, and that power slider.
Back to him for the first out.
And what you'll see tonight is a very focused, athlete, game face, moves around very quickly. He's in the best shape of his. Oh boy, he slipped right out of the box. Back foot right there just gives out on him a little bit.
And guys, he was reaching to the back of his left leg as he was walking back to the dugout.
So Todd Frazier now with one away. Just talking about after that right foot slip, grabbing the back of his leg. I mean, the Mets have just been one of 3 teams to have 10 players on the disabled list on this day. And that's not to even mention the players who were previously on the shelf and have returned. Todd Frazier is one of them. He's hit safely in 3 of his last 4 since coming back.
Oh, and the 11-1 record-setting team that they started off with. I mean, their starting pitching has been legit. In fact, 2-11 over this losing streak. So the starting pitching has been there. It's the of it is what you've seen, the potential, what this lineup can possibly do when the guys that have been hurt, like a Yoenis Cespedes, get back into it.
But the X factor is they got a lot of older players on this team, and some of those older guys have already gone down with injuries.
Nobody intended to keep. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count to Todd Frazier. And he's hanging around. Well, the Mets are the first, Indians second, and the show horse is right here in Flushing, Queens. Severino's next 3-2 pitch, and he strikes out Frazier, his first of the night. This is the list, and it ain't pretty. Jerry's familiar. Rafael Montero. I mean, the bullpen has been hit. The starting, Alex, is Yoenis Cespedes. They are simply not the same team without their biggest power threat in the lineup.
100%.
There's Brandon Nimmo now.
Everything on Fordo and their struggles. But if you have the best player anchoring the middle of that lineup, it makes everybody better, both in front of you and behind you. In the mid-'80s, it was a game changer. When he came up to the plate, the music was louder. The fans got confidence. There's a swagger that comes with Cespedes. When Cespedes was here, they were in the early this year, and they looked like the best team in baseball. Without him, different ball game for the Mets.
2 balls and a strike to Brandon Nimmo. 2-2 now. By the way, all of Cespedes' previous employers have been. It's a big difference in Oakland with or without him to begin his career. That's the impact he's made on the Mets.
Matty's ball game. Cespedes cost other managers a lot of sleep.
The next 2-2. And Conforto holds, or Nimmo rather, holds on, and it's a 3-2 count now. Full count with 2 gone. Nimmo hanging around.
Battling it. A chance of not being in the lineup. Well, the best hitter right now in this lineup is Brandon Nimmo in this 3rd spot. The battle going on right now.
The next 3-2, and he works the walk. And look at him sprint down to first base when he draws that base on balls.
You do not see that every day.
Mickey Callaway told us Nimmo brings players on the DL to 10-25 record since the beginning of May, worst in baseball. Nimmo's aboard with 2 gone here, and that'll bring up Jay Bruce.
And again, going
Porto, Gonzalez, all struggling at this point in the season.
You take 2 struggling left-handed hitters, and you hitters.
2 balls and no strikes to Jay Bruce. 3-time All-Star with just 3 home runs this year, all coming on the road. And it's 3 ball.
Jump them. Maybe get this game to a 2-0 lead early.
3 balls and a strike. Severino is tough against both sides of the plate, but over his last 2 starts, left-handed batters are 0 for 14 with 6 strikeouts against him, and just like that, he's back to.
Now, as a hitter, this can be 33% fastball, changeup, or fastball.
And he lost him with the fastball up and away. And that's back-to-back 2-out walks.
Diverse mix there, and both lefties and righties are hitting under 200 against him. But the difference between good and great, Matt, to your point, is he can self-correct on the mound.
Slider starts Devin Mesoraco with a strike. Well, he's already thrown 27 pitches this inning, and he averages 15. So having to work a little harder early on after the 2 walks, and now he's in front of
Brandon Nimmo. I mean, he grinded that at bat, and Severino's rolling. Remember, he had a quick ground out, a strikeout. And Nimmo just battled to work that first one.
Went with another breaking ball. This one's fouled away. This has been the problem for the Mets. They have had opportunities along the course of the 8th with runners in scoring position. You saw 1 for 26 in the last 6 games.
Yeah, Matt, how bad are those offensive struggles during this 8-game losing streak? The Mets have a 2.16 ERA. Washington Senators.
1919 Buster. Throwing it way back.
And just like that, he's out of the jam. Only Matt Vasgersian at Citi Field. Sir Didi leads things off after a 3-for-4 Saturday last night and takes a strike from Lugo. Gregorius checks in tonight at 247, 11 home runs, 36 driven in. The damage coming early on when he was red hot in the month of April. Something happened to Gregorius, him in a tailspin, enduring at one point an 0 for 30 stretch. Two balls and a strike.
He's taken. He's been wide open, looking to pull the ball. Didi Gregorius, believe it or not, in his career has never hit a ball for a home run to left center field. All his home runs in his career have been right field, right center field. He's brought out like the winter ball zapatos.
Special socks.
Yeah, guys, when the other Mets were out on the field and Lugo was warming up, Cabrera was not in his position. He was waiting and waiting and waiting at the end of the dugout, and they brought out those shoes to him. He changed out and ran on just before Lugo threw his first pitch.
Yeah, we thought he was hurt, that it was the effect of getting out of the box gingerly in the previous half inning. In fact, he was just switching up the scoots. And it's a ball and a strike on Aaron Hicks now. Veteran switch hitter, batting number 6 tonight. He has done his share of leading off for the Yankees on nights that Brett Gardner sits. 9 for his last 22. One of the Yankees swinging the bat well here in the Lugo working quickly to start this one. Another good breaking ball taken for a strike.
Sometimes you hear spin right, you think swing and miss. He actually doesn't get a lot of swing and misses on that pitch. He gets a ton of ground balls. In fact, 75% ground balls on that curveball.
Tried to come in full count, if you will. Very familiar with the 3-2 pitch. Got him looking. So with 2 gone, let's run shot off Steven Matz that tied the game at 3. He is red hot. 10 for 24 on the road trip after a couple of hits last night.
We just showed, but it's also the eye. Young rookie player. But the most impressive thing to me has been the takes and the at-bats in totality, not just the big swing.
Pitcher, and that was the thing he emphasized. Among the guys in the Yankees lineup, he's very comfortable with Andujar at the plate in those spots.
Behind 1 and I don't think the hard stuff's coming down for quite a while.
Caddyshack.
Speak for yourself, Jessica.
I know.
You know, spending hit, great pitching.
The next 1-2 to Andujar. Line back up the middle for a base hit.
Linea.
What was it that Aaron Boone was saying? Maybe you can explain it for us, Alex, how he lays the bat in the zone for such a long time.
Yeah, he sure did. He was basically saying Gary Sanchez, some guys just have a different sound and Andujar's one of them.
He's got an OPS over 1,000 with 2 strikes.
Wow.
Whoa.
Severino.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, pitcher.
He's been watching Scherzer. He says, I want to be the best.
What was that?
Hey, even Miguel Andujar couldn't help but laugh at that a little bit.
I mean, he almost fell over.
He's got bad intentions up there, man. He is up there to hack and grip it and rip it.
Why not? Like, look at it. Yes. Oh, everyone's going to watch him open up. Look at where his front foot goes.
He's Ruben Sierra.
Oh, my.
Oh.
He would not be denied. Strikes out on 3 pitches, so it's a scoreless inning for Seth. Justin Verlander, Jay Happ, Rick Porcello, and Blake Snell, who's had a sneaky, outstanding year in Tampa St. Pete on the American League wins leaderboard. Severino back to work. A scoreless game early on. Michael Conforto, Adrian Gonzalez, and Seth Lugo for the Mets. To work. A scoreless game early on. Michael Conforto, Adrian Gonzalez, and Seth Lugo for the Mets. They'll control trouble for Severino with 2 out when he walked Nimmo and Brute. 0-2 to Conforto is cracked into the opposite field. It's going to chase Gardner into the corner at the track. He's able to put
out in this. And again, when you're struggling, Alex, you know this. It's the little things like that, a pop up to the warning track opposite field that kind of gets you that confidence back.
It sure does. And he got to that 97-mile-an-hour fastball up and up.
So 1 gone for Severino. That'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez, the 5-time All-Star, just 3 for his last 25. He too goes into the opposite corner, but this one foul. That puts Gonzalez. Adrian Gonzalez signed by the Mets to fill a spot that they think will be occupied by a top prospect, Dominic Smith. Another left-handed batter with pop, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Severino already tonight.
That slider, and you got to understand, this has more depth. The best slider in baseball. Why? Look at it get to the back foot of Adrian Gonzalez. Starts as a strike, back foot. That's why you get the swing and miss.
Justin, from his 105 strikeouts, that's his 61st on that pitch. It is a devastating, devastating slider.
0-1 to Seth Lugo. Quickly 0-2 to his opposite number with 2 gone and the base is empty.
You want to see this slider? There's the blue. The white is average. That is the average slider in baseball. The blue is Luis Severino's.
How about that for a good morning, good afternoon, good night inning? It's happened so fast. Severino, what?
Overall, you know, when we're playing just backyard games, and you know, when it came to the home run derby, I had my brother Charlie pitch me, and my brother Jeff was hyping me up on the side. So, you know, I'm playing this game not only for myself and my family, and for my family.
When you think about become more natural?
At first, when I went to third, it was throwing it. I went a month where I thought I had the yips. It was the craziest thing in the world.
Show what you were doing when you had that kind of month where you went through a rough time throwing, and show me the right way.
I think the main thing, it was kind of like a feel. You know, I was throwing the ball. It was more shoulder kind of throw, kind of like getting it, just trying to feel it and get it over, instead of that kind of loosey-goosey kind of feel. So for me, I would get it. You know, the more time I had, the more thoughts go through your head. So I was like, all right. And next thing you know, I was.
Players have played for both sides in the Subway Series, representing the Yanks and the Mets.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So not that special after all.
Not so special. Special.
I just get the sense that success, fame, salary, and all that stuff's a part of being a Major League Baseball player. It just doesn't change who he is. He is that same kind of. He would have been the same guy that he is now 15 years ago without all the dough.
I can't wait to see him in Williamsport. We've got that Little League game in August, and I don't think there's anyone. I think it's going to be an exciting time to see him with all those kids.
Not just a great ambassador for the Mets, but for the game of baseball. He is just an awesome guy to be around.
You know what, a guy who, those two guys could be managing, coaching against each other, New Jersey high schools.
Love it. 2-2 pitch to Brett Gardner is fouled away. He is very active. Lugo with a pause at the bottom of his set, and he strikes out Gardner, his 5th of the ball game so far. And now Giancarlo Stanton, who was his first strikeout victim tonight.
And pitching coach Dave Island of the Mets told me that Seth Lugo does a great job of pitching to a scouting report, and he'll go back over a scouting report between innings so he can refocus.
You know, not every strikeout is indicative of how good your stuff is. That one right there against Brett Gardner, to your point, Jess, a guy that does not swing and miss often, is indicative of how sharp, how tight that breaking ball is tonight for Lugo.
Another good one. Ball and 2 strikes, and here he is doing the aforementioned, going over the scouting reports mid-game with his pitching coach Dave Island. I mean, that's a page right out of a College World Series. Up and into Stanton by design, and it's 2-2 now.
And I spoke to Island today about Lugo, and he raves about this young man. He loves him. He thinks he's not only a pitcher, he's a ball player. He's blue collar. In between starts, you can find him in the batting cage with his cleats on, hitting, working on his slashing, bunting. And if he...
To Stanton. Lugo a strike away from striking out the side. Full count now. Well, Seth Lugo's had to earn his keep. That's for draft selection back in 2011 out of Centenary in Louisiana. Stanton sends a flare out to shallow center. Conforto comes on to make the catch and retire the side. They go down in order against Lugo in the 3rd. Still scoreless in Queens.
Nobody knew if it was a slider or a split.
It was like Kevin Apier's. Remember, Apier threw that overhand just straight down slider. Kevin Apier's. Remember, Apier threw that overhand just straight down slider.
High comps talking about Kevin Apier and Rob Nen. I don't think mechanically Luis Severino reminds anybody of Kevin Apier, who was Apier and Rob Nen. I don't think mechanically Luis Severino reminds anybody of Kevin Apier, who was unconventional, and I mean, he was straight caveman and awesome, by the way, and took about a half second between pitches. But the action of the pitch has been such that it reminds him of that, and here it is again.
You know, we talked about with the K-Zone 3 horizontal and 6 more inches of vertical break. That's what makes it one of the best sliders in the game of baseball.
One gone for his dribble, Cabrera, who bounced out back to the mound in his first try tonight. And quickly Cabrera behind 0-2. It's not number 88 waiting on deck. It's a BB for those of you at home. Late on 99, understandably late on 99 miles an hour. But
from Cabrera, Gary Sanchez and Severino should both know he's not on the fastball. Do not get beat by your second or your third pitcher.
The guard have the fastest in their arsenal. Severino averaging 97 tonight, and there's a rollover ground ball for Torres at second. And a quick out number 2. Hey, our Major League Baseball coverage continues on Tuesday. A very special night. The Mets and Braves. It's a Hank Aaron's. And then Jess, Alex, Buster, and I will be in St. Louis on Father's Day for the Cubs and Cardinals a week from tonight.
What a treat. Hank Aaron, one of my heroes. I will certainly be.
You get multiple innings there, you can really get in depth, especially with that crew.
Here's Todd Frazier now. He was a strikeout victim in the first. And he's got a base hit to right here in the 3rd.
And even though he struck out on his first at bat, he still had 8 pitches,
which for the Yankees in the ALCS last year. If you look at the back of the baseball card, his postseason line's not great. He's running. Throw down to second base is really late. And you got to believe that Todd Frazier knew.
Susan Waldman, the famous Yankee broadcaster, told me he changed that clubhouse, and the players felt the same way. I just can't say enough good things about Todd Frazier. I love him. I love the way.
With runners in scoring position. dots the corner, and it's 1-2.
Obviously, Severino wants to throw one pitch and Gary Sanchez another.
See what they settle on the 1-2 pitch. Slider misses low. Not a bad one by any stretch.
It's interesting because he told the three of us yes.
Full count now.
Stay back there, stay with it. It's very rare for a pitcher to try to calm a catcher down. It's usually the other way around.
The 3-2. Served into left. And Gardner's able to squeeze it to keep another base.
How does that manifest itself in close games like this?
There is a belief all the time in our dugout, whether it's the first inning, the fifth, the ninth, that at some point we're going to get you, and you can feel that in the dugout throughout the game.
Aaron, thanks.
Hard to argue. That's what the numbers would tell you. Last 3 games, they've had a home run in the 8th inning or later that's changed the score. Here's Greg Bird leading things off against Lugo in the 4th with a fly ball to center for Conforto. We have had a change defensively in the offing. We noted how his
there's still more upside for the New York Yankees, and it's hard to say that because they're on pace to win 110 games. But if you look at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th hitter, Greg Bird, Sanchez, and Gregorius, all 3 to a degree have underachieved and have a lot more upside. And for Gary Sanchez, when he's locked in, when he's focused, when he's in great shape, he is still the New York Yankees' best hitter. For him to be tight and hit the ball to center and right center field in the air.
You know, it's interesting, and again, things have gone so incredibly that when you talk about Gary Sanchez and whatever defensive shortcomings he has had to deal with, and there are some, the thought has always been maybe the guy would finish out his career at DH as he's retired here on a ground ball. The problem there is they've got a guy at DH in Giancarlo Stanton who's making a lot of money
for the position available. So not a problem for today, Matt, but definitely a problem to look into the next 3 or 4 years.
Didi Gregorius now with 2 gone. Head. By the way, the Yankees have the 0-2 to Gregorius.
And this is not the Didi Gregorius we saw the first 30 games or so of the year. It's to right center field. When he's locked in, he is shooting to shoot the ball right over the shortstop's head.
Coming into this series, they talked about how opponents are just killing Gregorius with pitches on the outer half of the strike zone.
Yeah, all the numbers back that up, Buster. When you look at it, Lugo looking to make it 7 in a row. Single so far tonight has the New York Mets right-hander. 2-out single by Greg Bird in the first, 2-out single by Andujar in the second. The only base runners on his watch tonight. And he gets Gregorius to pop it up. It is 7 in a row retired by the Mets right. Scoreless in the bottom of the 4th as the Mets send up their cleanup batter Jay Bruce, then Devin Mesoraco and Michael Conforto. Bruce drew one of the 2 first-inning walks with 2 away that made it look like the Mets were going to get something done against Luis Severino early, but he has tightened up since. Bruce with a drive out to right center. Hicks at the track denies Bruce his first home homer of the year. With 1 gone, we take our hats off. This year's visit is on July 31st. On top of that, the Mets have created a special Mets Challenge coin that they present to service members and veterans as a way to say thank you for their service. On one side, the Mets logo. On the other side, the seals of the 5 branches of the U.S. military. Very active with the military community are the New York Mets. Man, I don't think there's room for one of these things on that hat. Get the LED readout going on and everything.
Are those all from 1986? Cool hat.
Bring him to Williamsport. All those pins and little leaguers.
Now, Matt, you were talking a little bit about Stanton. Now, this 7 years for $488 million. $315 of that is what the Yankees owe.
Devin Mesoraco's got a base hit.
But what allows them to be able to absorb these type of contracts is you have 7 players: Judge, Severino, Sanchez, Bird, Andujar, and the MVP. So the window for the Yankees is not as big as people may think it is, not as long, because when these players mature, this same 7 players will probably cost you around $75 to $100 million per year. Now, Jessica, if you're Brian Cashman and you can pick 3 or 4.
Judge, a possible Cy Young, Luis Severino. You got the rookies, Torres and Andujar. Those would be the 3 or 4 I'm holding on to. But they're all good.
Around for Torres. Oh man, and Gregorius bobbles on.
They were able to win with Jeter and Pettit and Mariano and Bernie before signing the big contracts. Because they were able to win those championships, George Stein continued to grow this great dynasty. Matt, who would you pick?
Well, I'm agreeing with both of you guys. And, you know, look at the Astros last year. That was, as you started talking about that, Alex, that was the first thing that came to mind. When you can win before your players become arbitration eligible or certainly to add around that core. That's the sweet spot, right? That's what all 30 are trying to do. And Gonzalez is a strikeout victim for a second time. 5%. Yankees have the best record in baseball since then, and the Mets the worst. Aaron Hicks will lead things off in the visitors' half of inning number 5. Hicks and Duhar and Severino. And there it is in black and white. March 1, it has been a whole different story in the 2 boroughs.
With Cespedes and without.
Owen matched him pitch for pitch. Each with 5 strikeouts. Each having allowed just a couple of base runners. Make it 6 strikeouts for Lugo tonight. Tomorrow night, our ESPN Plus Monday night matchup takes us to the AL East. The Red Sox and Orioles. Looks like we might have an Orioles fan here. Oh no, that's a Mets wig. Got it. I got thrown off by the oranges.
Orange.
Yeah.
When other teams can't own the orange.
I guess not. Here's Andujar now. You know, speaking of the Red Sox, how about laying out this scenario for you? Each of these teams, the Yankees and Red Sox, are on a pace to win well over 100 games this year. That would mean one of them, Houston and Justin Verlander, or Seattle and James Paxton. That's hardly a how do you do for winning 103 games. You're still going to have to sing for your supper in a wild card game. Little flare out to right, and Reyes gets out there to make the catch.
You know, Matt, that's a great point, but pretty likely to win over 100, and to face Cole or Verlander, not a fun task.
Here's Severino now with 2 gone.
Oh, he takes a pitch. His first at bat, 3 straight, I mean, out of your shoes. You're talking about Little League. He was channeling that 10-year-old just take your hack Sandlot style.
But now he's going to work the count now.
Work it out too.
I would not be surprised if pitching coach Larry Rothschild said, "Okay, that was enough fun. Now don't swing anymore."
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
He's closed off like Stanton now, and he strikes out again.
Hit Mesoraco too.
Great time.
Yes.
Good times. Seth Lugo leads things off against Luis Severino, and these 2 guys have been the story so far tonight. Seth Lugo leads things off against Luis Severino, and these 2 guys have been the story so far tonight. They've combined for 11 strikeouts. They've yielded just 4 base hits and have not been in trouble all night. 0-2 the count to Lugo. ball and 2 strikes to Lugo. And if you don't believe us, 2 walks from Severino came in the first. He has been stingy since. They've combined for 12 strikeouts tonight. Into the stands goes Greg.
Boy, good hops from Greg Bird.
It looked like he was doing a stunt for the old Letterman show, like the Velcro suit routine. Another strikeout for Severino. Second time he's gotten Lugo tonight. Hey, the Yankees had persevere and excel, an initiative rooted in the belief that acts of goodwill provide hope and encouragement to more than just the recipient of the gesture. It's a great thing they've done annually, and each day during Hope Week, the Yankees go out during your time in the Bronx. I know that the players really take it to heart.
You know, the genesis of that was Jason Zillo, the PR veteran for the Yankees, and it's one of the nicest, greatest, most fun things I've ever been a part of. And when it comes down to reaching out into the community, giving back, spending time, no one does it better than the New York Yankees.
You did while you were there for Hope Week that impacted you?
Yeah, we met a lot of kids that had some cancer. That was very tough. We went out and built schools. We went out and went into the communities that some kids that were sick, we would surprise them, work with a mother, and when these kids would come in, we would surprise them. I mean,
that's cool.
They were.
That's really cool.
Crying. I mean, it was so.
I can see you.
Yeah, it was. I'm lost for words because it's about 10 years.
2 quick outs, meanwhile, for Luis Severino, who has struck out the last 3 that he's faced. And he's got Jose Reyes behind 0-1. And Reyes bounces a base hit through the right side.
And he turns away. And as a hitter, when you can't see the bus coming, that's a big problem.
Todd Frazier now with a 2-out base runner. He takes a strike. The great Pedro Martinez have become the stuff of legend. A lot of things that they've worked on, including the mental approach to the game. And Severino shared with us that he was the one that he kind of chased it.
Is when it's out of your hand. And as a hitter, it feels like the pitcher is 45 feet instead of 60 feet 6 inches.
Still 0-2 to Todd Frazier. Well, let's take a look at that split screen again.
And now that's a slider. Now, giving him a lot of credit, Pedro Martinez said you have to get tighter with your zone, with your mechanics. And one of the things he did is he bought a mirror and he put it right next to his bed in Dominican Republic. And he was telling us yesterday that he looks like the Cy Young winner of the American League.
It's amazing. He does something completely different with his mirror next to his bed than I do. I look at it and I say, I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, I'm big enough. Todd Frazier big enough to hit a big boy ball out to left. That gets out of here.
And we talked about Todd Frazier first at bat.
We talked about it in the open too. This team is dependent on the home run to score runs, and we've seen the base runners even early in the first inning unable to score, but when they can hit the long ball, which is why they miss the guys in the lineup that, like a Yoenis Cespedes that hits the long ball, isn't here. Todd Frazier picking that up 2 nights in a row.
All 5 of the Mets run. Man, Todd Frazier was so spread out at the plate on that swing. He was dead sure he was going to get a slider. 2 balls and a strike to count to Brandon Nimmo.
And we haven't seen a lot of changeups yet from Severino tonight, and know that even if he got a fastball, he could poke it like he did his last at bat to right field. It's the changeup that's been tough, because that's what he throws to the right side of the plate predominantly, and those right pitch for him. I wouldn't be surprised as he gets now 3rd time through the order if he starts throwing that changeup more.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Nimmo, and he swats that into right field.
This entire series, They like him back in this lineup.
So now Jay Bruce, who has walked and flied to center.
And Callaway putting the game in motion a little bit. You see Ray on Severino.
And Mickey Callaway hoping that it's more than just one inning to the rest of the game. Yesterday, a couple of homers in a 3-run first, shut out the rest of the way. There goes a runner, and that one's fouled away. Nimmo will have to return to first base.
Alex, Todd Frazier last year played with
And Severino and Sanchez have not been on the same page all night.
Nimmo runs again, and Bruce shoots it back up the middle. Backhanded play by Gregorius to end the inning. Wow. In Major League Baseball through the first 2+ months of the season. These are guys that have been around the block a time or two. Matt Kemp has already won National League's Comeback Player of the Year honors for the most of us, as Gleyber Torres swings at the first pitch from Seth Lugo and pops to the right side of the infield. Let's go back to that list, because you've got guys like the veterans Kemp and Nick Markakis, who, by the way, has never been a
Shortstop to me in the game, but now that he's hitting too, it's fun to watch.
Here's Brett Gardner now with one gone. Nick Castellanos having.
I'm waiting for these Yankees to start sitting the way we saw Frazier sit slider a bit on Severino. That curveball has been a go-to all night long for Seth Lugo. And the thing is, guys, he throws it for a strike. It's not like he's got the pound it in the dirt type breaking ball. He's second in the big. I wouldn't be surprised now, third time through the order, if some of these hitters start sitting a little bit more on that curveball.
Well, Lugo's last appearance. Two balls and a strike to Brett Gardner, batting with the bases empty and one away as he sprays a fly ball to center field. Something of a mutual admiration society between the guy that just swung the bat and the.
What he does. He turns every at-bat into a battle royale.
You know, I'll agree to that and attest to Callaway's appraisal on Gardner. The one thing is, in many ways, he's kind of the Paul Neal of the Yankees, of this team. A guy that's underrated, not spoken about enough, but the heart and soul of the New York Yankees, Brett Gardner.
And those strikes to count to Giancarlo Stanton. Two gone, bases empty. Yankees have had no success even putting runners on base against Seth Lugo.
I don't know if it has to do with the hesitancy to hand it over to the bullpen. They have a lead, which I think 8-game losing streak. This is a big deal for the New York Mets. I think Seth Lugo's going to go a little bit past where they want him to.
Well, he has not allowed a base runner since the Andujar Sink start of the year. Three balls and a strike to count to Stanton.
And this payoff pitch for Lugo.
This will be the 84th pitch of the appearance by Lugo. And he gets Stanton looking. Marino also gone. It'll be Chasen Shreve to take over and work in the bottom of the 6th inning. The left-hander will get Devin Mesoraco, Michael Conforto, and Adrian Todd Frazier. That was the difference tonight. You know, we talked to Aaron Boone about Severino's use, how it looked like they were a little more watchful of him. And that was indeed the case tonight. His last 2 starts, and tonight they roll with Severino for only 5. And there's ball 4.
I think about Luis Severino and the night that he's had, the 5 Ks and how they've come. Now it dives off the table about 7 miles an hour less. And we didn't even see the changeup tonight.
No, we really didn't. There's Conforto now with the leadoff hitter since April 10th. He also went 5 that night against the Red Sox. This part of the lineup from Conforto on down without a base hit tonight. Conforto have really struggled on their own. Each with an OPS about 200 points south of where they finished last year.
He's really getting frustrated, getting more passive, indecisive because his swing isn't built to miss strikes. It's one thing if you're chasing a pitch that's not, and you have no business hitting it, but when it's a pitch that, no, I'm supposed.
Fat breaking balls in the middle of the zone, that's all confidence. Now, how do you get more confidence? You face more right-handed hitters. If Cespedes is in the lineup today, the 2 lefties around him.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Michael Conforto. You know, projecting to the later innings tonight, Aroldis Chapman has appeared in. Nimmo and Gonzalez, 4 of the 5 batters there are left-handed. It could get interesting later on should Aaron Boone's lineup give him a chance to perhaps earn a win tonight. Popped into left as Gardner scurries under it for out number 1. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN presented by Tom.
With your PB&J, saying hi to everybody.
Right.
Oh, I'm in the wrong spot.
It was cool.
Adrian Gonzalez takes a strike.
That was the problem too.
Better and better.
It sounds like he was doing some research and development for an app that he's trying to bring to the marketplace. 0-2 the count to Gonzalez. Pinch hitter on deck for the. And Robert Gesellman is up in the Mets bullpen. Well, the Mets come back home. High target by Gary Sanchez there. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. The ball and 2 strikes the count here to Adrian Gonzalez. Just hanging around.
And managing the 11 pitchers than Jason Varitek.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Gonzalez looking rather comfortable against the left-hander. Got him. And there are 2 gone. So still a runner at first with 2 gone for the pinch hitter Jose Bautista. 9 for 34 that the Atlanta Braves tried to play some third base there. And then Johan Camargo kind of grabbed the job. Bautista was left without a lot of opportunities.
You know, I know it didn't go very well for Jose Bautista, but I'm a big. So if you're a team going for on a playoff race, Bautista could be a very nice complementary piece at this point in his career.
Big swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
42%.
I mean, he's 37. You know, he's not a young chicken anymore.
It was interesting. Before he became a megastar with the Blue Jays, he had this similar role with Pittsburgh, with the Pirates. And I think for Jose is he has to find his kind of.
It'd be spots pinch hitting against a left-handed bullpen guy where Bautista could excel. Just 167 against southpaws this year as Shreve strikes him out to strand that leadoff walk. Pitching change as Seth Lugo's 6 innings of shutout baseball is officially in the books. He'll yield in favor of right-hander Robert Gesellman. Gesellman faces Greg Bird. Gesellman making his 30th appearance of the year tonight. He's been very effective on both sides of the plate. Left-handed hitters like Greg Bird batting just 200 against him this year. Singles tonight. That's all they were able to accomplish in 6 innings against Seth Lugo. And a called strike 3.
Well, think about the night that Seth Lugo came in. Usually a bullpen guy, same pitch, 2 different locations, but you think about the setup, the slider, the fastball, the curveball to set up the K pitch, which was his best tonight.
Gary Sanchez takes a ball off the plate tonight in the midst of a 2 for 27 trip.
And make no mistake about it, if the New York Yankees want to win a world championship, mental approach. The hitting follows.
Well, I mean, that's the good news, bad news about it is when your cleanup hitter is in the.
You cannot say enough about what this team has done. But in New York, you get judged for championships. And regardless of what the record is during the regular season, you're going to be facing Verk and Sale. And those are the guys you want to beat. In order to beat them, you got to tighten your defense. And Gary Sanchez and Didi and Greg Bird have to get going.
Jam shot. Easy routine play for Frazier and 2 gone. Seth Lugo left the Mets in pretty good shape after 6 scoreless and visited with Mickey Callaway along.
I mean, I wouldn't say tired, but I could tell I was losing a little strength.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite tired. I stayed on my legs pretty good.
Great job, man. Wow. Great job.
To be continued, right? He's pitched well enough tonight to earn.
He was a top 5 pitcher all the way of the stuff that he's shown, but he's so good for them in the bullpen. And I think that's where it's tough, because obviously he wants to be in the starting rotation. He's just thing about him. They've lacked arms in the bullpen, and Lugo just adds to that. And they need him.
Well, he pitches a lot more games like he did.
Every bit as good as those who have gone before him in the rotation the last 8 days. The problem for the Mets hasn't been starting pitching, as we've talked about all night. It's been their inability to score. Gregorius into right center, a ball pretty well hit. Over for it with time, however, is Conforto, and Robert gets vote for that final roster spot. Meanwhile, Ahmed Rosario leads things off in the Mets half of inning number 7, and a pitching change on the mound for the Yankees as the veteran Adam Warren takes over for New York.
Yeah, Adam, the 4th rounder in 2009 had a starter arsenal from the bullpen. The fastball, the slider, the curveball, best pitch, changeup, especially 3-2 against lefties.
Good slider there, swung on and missed. In an ideal case scenario, that he would not have to use Aaron Judge, but trailing late, a base runner, and he might have an opportunity tonight. The liner gobbled up by Torres, 1 away. That 2-run 5th as it kept the inning alive for Frazier, and the home run has been the difference. Reyes, after making his major league debut on what was his last day as a teenager, he turned 20 the next day. Force threat. 128 triples, 514 stolen bases, 142 home runs. The only other player in Major League history with as many triples, homers, and steals. Probably home saying, well, that's all great, but can he help us this year? And that remains to be seen.
As exciting as a young player as I've ever seen. Just $1 million smile. And loves New York City, lives right here all year round, was thrilled to get a second chance to come back to New York. Much like Matt Kemp was thrilled to come back to the Dodgers. And I can tell from personal experience, guys, I mean, the fact, and Kemp, they both feel grateful to be back in the original organization.
Just got a piece of that 2-2 fastball to stay alive.
And that's an area that's hurting his swing, and this way he's able to battle and foul off the pitches he normally misses.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you've seen 2 veteran players today.
Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Easy take to run the count full, 3-2. Scoreboard tonight. Payoff pitch home.
Jose Reyes is locked in.
One out, bases empty, and a 2-0 Mets lead last of the 7th. The next 3-2 pitch home to Reyes is swatted into center field. Hicks coming on for it, and there are 2 gone.
Great take to get to that last slider, and you just saw him work the count, but again, one of the best sliders you will see. Todd Frazier hit it out, and that's been the difference in this game.
2 RBIs tonight. He's hit safely now in 4 of the 5 games that he's played in since coming off the disabled list. 1-1 per load for the right-handed batter. You know, the late lead here, nice for the Mets, considering what's been happening around here. They lost 8 of 11. And they had the lead entering the 7th in 6 of those 11 games. You're talking about a whole nother set of problems. So far, so good. As Gesellman gave them a 1-2-3 inning on behalf of Lugo in the 7th. Frazier takes a strike. It's a full count now. Would bet that Gesellman's going out there for the 8th as well, as he'll face Hicks and Duhar, and then a pinch hitter.
Should be another slider here by Warren.
It was, and Frazier off the end of the bat sends it out to shallow left, tracked down. A 2-0 lead for the New York Mets. Todd Frazier's 2-run home run the difference. Mets trying to snap out of an 8-game losing streak. Robert Gesellman threw a shutout. Hicks and Duhar, and then the pitcher spot for the Yankees. First time this month has been quiet tonight, as has the entire Yankee lineup. They've been limited to just 2 singles this evening. Mesoraco sets the inside target. That's right where Gesellman delivers it to strike out Hicks.
Yeah.
Judge a non-starter tonight. And it'll be Judge that pinch hits. First pitch to Andujar misses inside.
And for Aaron Hicks, tough night at the plate. 3 strikeouts, all looking.
In fact, he's got an OPS over 1,000 with 2 strikes in the last 30 days. And for a young hitter.
How big is that?
Jeez.
Huge.
That brings the tying run to the plate in the form of Aaron Judge. First pitch from Gesellman on the ground to shortstop. And the throw to first goes bad, thanks in part by the slide of Andujar. So now Gleyber Torres, the American League's Rookie of the Month in May. And Torres takes a strike. I think the Yankees have hit a go-ahead homer in the 8th inning in their last 3 games. And the Mets, as we've documented, have let a number of late leads slip away along the course of this 8-game. Oh, and 2 to Torres. Popped him up. Gonzalez hoping for a play in foul territory. And there are 2 gone. We talked about the late home runs that the Yankees have benefited from the last few nights. Gardner hit one of them. Friday night series opener against Jacob deGrom. 2 Mets to what was their 7th straight loss. Gardner sends a fly ball into left. And Nimmo's able to handle it, and Gesellman's able to strand in Major League Baseball on this Sunday. Well, Robert Gesellman able to hold and strand a pair, keeping the Mets 2-0 lead in check. Brandon Nimmo will begin the process in the
bat. Been one of the key players. You see Jonathan Holder's numbers: 2.61 ERA, 0.87 WHIP. But Nimmo has been really, has been Brandon Nimmo. We watched a lot of film on Paul Goldschmidt, completely changed his lower half. And how he did it, it was just basically simplifying. So he went YouTube, wouldn't have to stride. Look how wide he is. But as he swings, watch, it's going to be a simple, just literally heel is going to come up, heel is going to come down, which allowed him to get into position to where he can just have, and you see the swing there. It's a simple swing. He had so much more going on. He gets under that pitch, but he's able to make contact with it.
Simple swing and an amazing story for a first-round athlete who didn't even play high school baseball because it wasn't offered in Wyoming, where Brandon grew up. He's a strikeout victim to start the bottom of the 8th. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir, could you take off one of your 6 dozen fedoras? My son can see the game.
Can't see the game, but I'm glad you're getting some attention. I mean, we're kind of feeding into it right now.
We usually are the problem.
Refund.
I mean, that's what, 15? We have a bet going? How many hats that is?
2 balls in those. Yeah, how you doing with the lobster fries, by the way?
Oh, we got chicken and waffles, donuts as you got rocking in front of you.
And Leon's getting larger.
Maddie, we're going to have to run a marathon after this.
The donuts that I'm after.
We would like to thank the Mets, though, for taking such good care of us here tonight.
Well, and honestly, this is one of the ballparks. That's what's fun about the newer. Just walk in the stadium, and they've got a great thing going on out in the outfield. At Broadway Shea Bridge deal with tons. They got Shake Shack, they got sandwiches. You can tell I ate.
I mean,
basically.
You're making us hungry.
You got food in front of you. Go for it.
Full count pitch from Holder is swung on and missed. Bruce kept hitless tonight. A reminder, weekdays. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jonathan Holder here in the 8th, and now it's Devin Mesoraco. He has singled and walked tonight. Go figures, right? I mean, the Mets lineup was as cold could be at the start of the night. With the exception of the Frazier home run, it wasn't exactly like they went gangbusters tonight. But they're facing the hottest starter on the planet, who will be 3 outs away from a series salvaging win tonight, should they be able to hold up in the 9th.
And frustrating for the Mets with 3 quality starts. Very.
Mesoraco with a swing and a fly ball to the left field corner that Gardner drifts over to corral and give the Yankees one last chance tonight. They'll have their middle of the order in the Mickey Callaway, Anthony Swarzak in the New York Mets, 3 outs away from snapping an 8-game losing streak. And Swarzak starts the meat of the order down by 2. We saw the note on Swarzak a moment ago. First save opportunity when he was a Chicago White Sox. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to stand.
I like it, Jess.
Another one that misses 2-2. The vaunted Yankee attack, leading Major League Baseball in. Only once have the Yankees had a base runner as far as second. And it took a 2-error play by Jose Reyes to make that happen last inning. And Stanton's caught looking. Hank Aaron in the booth for a long-form visit by the legendary Hall of Famer. Wednesday night, Nationals and Yankees, and then we'll be in St. Louis a week from tonight for the Cubs and Cardinals. Here's Greg Bird now. Well, the Mets are other team has been able to do against the Yankees this year, and that's shut them out.
The Cubs did in 16 and like the Astros did last year in 17.
Bird lays off a fastball that stays high, and it's
maybe even a 3-1 take as well.
Swarzak's pitch is in for a strike, and we'll see if Bird's thinking along those lines here. The 3-1. He takes ball 4. So for the second straight inning, the Yankees will have an opportunity with the tying run stepping to the plate.
Swing, he can save the whole night. And there's a good matchup because Swarzak's going to challenge him. He has fastball. He's around the plate. He throws every pitch for a.
Ballman no strikes to Sanchez. To 2-0 now, and all of a sudden Anthony Swarzak struggling with his
off. Greg Bird is not going to take the chance to get thrown out.
2-0 to Sanchez is lined right to Frazier, back to first, and that'll do it. And the Mets survive.